Welcome aboard Rocket Ship, the platform with the most relevant content for competitive examinations. This is Rocket Ship IAS Lab and continuing with our series on answer writing for general studies papers of civil service main examination. We take up a question that you might come across in GS paper 3. Here goes the question. Blockchain technology can make public administration more people-centric. Illustrate. What concerns have to be adequately addressed while adopting blockchain for public administration? Before we start attempting this question, we have to make a confession here that whatever we discuss in this lecture is not an exhaustive list of all the potential application of blockchain for public administration. We would repeat it. You can always add to the list of application of blockchain in public administration that we are going to discuss today. So consider it a piece of homework. Actually, it's a homework for you that you would find more, you could say, use cases for blockchain technology in public administration, apart from those that we discuss right here, right today. Anyway, as you can see, the question as usual has two parts. In the first part, we are introducing a piece of technology, an example of a technology, and the question asks you what can be its potential application in public administration. You have to illustrate its potential application in public administration through examples wherever they are appropriate and wherever you can actually find examples. In the second part, you have to talk about the concerns that have to be addressed even before we start applying blockchain technology in public administration. What should strike you that is the phrase people-centric. The question itself says that blockchain technology can potentially make public administration people-centric. Naturally, it should arise to you. It should it begs the question: what people-centric means? When we are talking of a people-centric administration, rather than going to formally define it, we can understand it through its traits. What the traits are that would define a certain public administration as people-centric. When we are calling a public administration system people-centric, we essentially mean that you could say it respects the rights and entitlements of the citizens. We would repeat it. A people-centric public administration would respect the rights and entitlements of the citizen. It would also, for an example, be more transparent than is usually the case. And in the context of modern society, in the context of the modern information age, it would also secure the data of the citizens. So when we are talking of a public-centric administration, with the help of blockchain technology, we would essentially deal with some of these themes. That is, it should be you could say right centric. It should ensure the rights of the, or in rather the entitlements of the citizens. It should be secure. It should secure their data. Moreover, it should be transparent. We would see how blockchain technology can help in, you could say, strengthening all these traits of a public-centric administration, or rather the public administration. We are starting with basically defining blockchain, that blockchain is a digital ledger, that is digital record keeping, that distributes information across a network of computers. Basically, it's a distributed system of record keeping. In simple words, blockchain is based on requirement of authentication from the network. That means it is difficult to carry on unauthorized transactions by hacking into or breaking into one or few nodes of the network. So essentially, whenever we are talking of blockchain, our concern is basically data security. How blockchain secures the data, because it distributes the data through the entire network. So even if someone were to hack into or break into one of the nodes, for example, one of the computers of the network, they won't be able to actually access the data, because it would need the authorization of the entire network, each and every node of the network, each and every computer that are part of that network. That makes blockchain very secure and the data near to immutable. That is, virtually no one can, you could say, tamper with the data without authorization. The blockchain architecture can be illustrated with the help of a graphic. What happens whenever a data is entered into a blockchain system, that is, an input is made into a blockchain system, a new block is created, and this block is broadcast to all the nodes. Moreover, to authorize this particular transaction, whatever, or like authorize the particular output, the system requires approval from each and every node, and once it is approved, it becomes a part of the chain. That is, we have introduced the input with D1 data, we have represented the input with D1 block, and this block, after authorization, it becomes part of the secure chain. We would repeat it, how blockchain technology works. Suppose an input is made, or for an example, a transaction is initiated. This transaction or this input would be distributed, it would be, you could say, broadcast to all the nodes of the blockchain, all the nodes of the network, and to be approved, this particular transaction would require the authorization of each and every node of the network, and once it is approved, it becomes part of the blockchain. Due to requirement of its approval through each and every node of the network, it is quite secure. The security and immutability of blockchain makes it ideal for application in public administration. This is a general statement. Now we would see how it would work in detail. This would ensure sanctity of records. That is, the records cannot be tampered without authorization. Reduce pilferage, because we can actually track where, for an example, a particular program, or for that matter, a particular benefit intended for the citizens is reaching or not reaching them. It would eliminate counterfeiting, because we can actually track each and every, you could say, part of the supply chain. Stop impersonation also, or identity theft. Or identity theft. That is, someone cannot, you could say, impersonate as another person, and you could say take away the benefits intended for that particular person whom he is impersonating. Now, talking of some of the use cases of blockchain in public administration, there are some very, very specific use cases. For an example, in land records, that would reduce frauds, because we cannot tamper with the data. For an example, land records, it would reduce frauds. It would also eliminate Benami transaction. Try to visualize how, you could say, think how it would be possible to eliminate Benami transactions through blockchain technology. For an example, someone has unauthorizedly tried to, you could say, change the ownership of a particular piece of land. That won't be possible in the blockchain technology, because it would need authorization from, you could say, an entire distributed network. So without proper authorization, no one would be able to, for an example, transfer one property in the name of another person, because in that case, it would be communicated to the entire network that someone has tried to tamper with the system. In supply chain of items like medicine, it would check counterfeiting. You can understand that in India's case, the fake drugs or counterfeit drugs has become a big menace, so that even Lancet, a very, very, you could say, eminent journal, had to, you could say, it had raised concern about the case of counterfeiting of drugs or medicine in India. Moreover, similarly in food safety, etc., the food distribution network, the public distribution system too can take benefit of blockchain technology. It would ensure that the programs reach the intended beneficiary, establishing identity of the target. Again, if there is again an unauthorized attempt to, you could say, pilfer the benefits meant for a particular person, it would be communicated to the entire network, and again we can take action to stop this particular unauthorized transaction. It would make it possible to monitor progress of a program. For an example, any kind of, you could say, a social security benefit, whether they are reaching and how far they are reaching, whether they are reaching to a particular point, to a particular beneficiary. Real-time tracking and monitoring of all programs would be possible. Now, taking up these points in detail, the immutability of blockchain data means unauthorized transactions like forging land records will be difficult. If not impossible, it would be difficult to forge the land records. Similarly, land titles will have to be registered in the owner's name, checking Benami transactions, because they cannot be unauthorizedly transferred to the name of someone else. And the thing is, the Honorable Minister of State for Information Technology in the Union Government has informed Parliament that blockchain technology is being test piloted in Karnataka and Jharkhand for land records. So again, we have real life use cases for blockchain technology in India. Blockchain can eliminate the curse of counterfeit drugs and make tracking of public supply more practicable. It would be possible to track whether a particular, you could say, for an example, a drug sample is actually reaching, for an example, a public hospital, and it's not again being diverted to the private market. We would repeat it, how blockchain makes it possible to, you could say, stop counterfeiting of drugs. For an example, a drug has been sent to a public hospital. Through blockchain, we can actually track whether this particular sample of drug is reaching the public hospital or and it is not being diverted to the private market. Through blockchain, that would be possible. Blockchain can ensure that programs reach intended beneficiary and not pilfered by middlemen. Again, you cannot impersonate, because that would not be possible, and blockchain network would ultimately, it would inform every node of the network that someone has attempted to tamper with the data. The traceability of data in blockchain makes real-time tracking of project progress possible. The conclusion we are now the point is, what are the concerns that have to be addressed before wider adoption of blockchain? First is huge energy demand. That is, it still requires quite some power, you could say, to use blockchain. This has to be made greener and more efficient, so that it would use power more efficiently. It would use much less power. Cybersecurity risks are rising as hacking into blockchain is becoming more sophisticated. Till now, there have been very few attempts of actually successful hacking into the blockchain network. But again, some of the hackers, some of the, you could say, elements have actually tried hacking into the blockchain technology, and it's feared that with time they would become much more sophisticated. So we cannot be complacent that blockchain is entirely, you could say, safe from breaking into. Again, there would be possible to break into the blockchain network, and if we were not to, you could say, take adequate steps for cyber security, our entire data would be compromised. Blockchain sacrifices speed for safety. Again, the point is, the central concern with blockchain is safety of the data, that is data safety, rather than speed. This restricts its use in cases requiring real-time authorization. So whenever it's the requirement of real-time authorization, we cannot use blockchain. So these are some of the potential concerns that have to be addressed before we use blockchain technology to make public administration more people-centric in India. That was all on blockchain technology, its potential use in making the public administration more people-centric, what concerns must be addressed before adopting blockchain technology in public administration. we would reassemble for the next lecture in a few days. As usual, we wish you all the best. Thank you.